trading. My name is Alejandro Zambrano, Chief Market Analyst with TradeCaptain.com. Let's take a look at the markets, but before we start, as always, I need to stress that trading financial markets is unfortunately risky, and there's a genuine risk that we'll lose all of our invested money. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then don't forget to check out TradeCaptain.com if you're new to us. We have a bunch of content here. If you do like technical analysis, I do publish a few articles every day here on the technical analysis section. You can just click here or click under these two links here, or even 3 links here, to specialize if you're looking into something more specific, like short-term or long-term analysis. Okay, let's kick off, but don't forget the risk disclosure statement down here, especially if you're new to trading. Great, let's get going, and we're not going to talk about the S&P. We are going to talk about the euro. Okay, so this is the euro. Massive reversal yesterday. Things were going really good at one point. As you might remember, I was bearish from pretty much down here. The market moved against us for a day or so, and then went back into profits. And then I suspect because of the retail sales numbers yesterday, weaker than expected, the market decided to push to the upside. And that is causing now the euro to challenge its yearly high here at 125.40. Oh yeah, 125.24. Now, if we take out the high, or the fact that we're so close, trading so close to that high, it makes me think that we probably will take out that high. And obviously, if we do, it opens up for further gains for the euro. And we could just look to the left here and see that we have these levels here, and you have a high here from 2014 November, and then you have another high here, which is pretty much 120.43 from October 2014. So these are targets that traders are watching on a break to the upside, which is, again, the actual spiked up higher, but I'm watching the highs of these 2 days here on the 1st of February and 2nd of February. So my game plan for this market is to maintain a bullish bias, look to buy when possible. If we take a fib from the new low here, which is the new trend defining level, bullish above this level, and if we have a 50% correction or so, I think it makes sense to turn bullish and target that high. There's a big issue though that I'm a little bit concerned of. If you zoom out, you see data here from January 16th. We could also argue that we're just trading sideways, right? So you need to bear in mind, if we go down here, we may get stuck in the middle, and it could be a little bit difficult to trade. A little bit like it was here. Do you remember this? This is September. The market moved down, and then it looked like it was going to head to the upside, but then it moved back down to the middle again, and then we just had to wait a few weeks before the market decided to take out this high to eventually trade higher. Okay, so we could potentially be heading into maybe a month or so of difficult trading if the euro doesn't manage to take out this high. So you need to bear that in mind. And that is my outlook for the euro versus the USD. Again, bullish from 123.94, and I'll be bullish as long as we're above 122.75, targeting this high, and then take out the high. We go higher and higher. That's what I think is going to happen. Doesn't necessarily mean that you should be doing all this, but that's what I think is going to happen. And this is Bitcoin. I like this better because, people don't like it any longer. I mean, it's a lot of people in the media talking bad about Bitcoin, and wasn't this supposed to head to zero and things like that. For us here, it's a different ball game. We don't actually trade on the back of the headlines. The market was trading sideways. I was bearish, but the market took out this high, breached 91.24. We're now at 99.17. So up with a few percent. I think it's about 9 to be exact. And that's awesome. Probably heading to the next resistance level, which is at 12,000. I think here as well, as we clearly leaving the zone, then we could probably reduce the key level to 7,720. So right now we're looking at a risk of about 15%, and if it actually reaches our target, a potential return of 31%. And then we'll see. I'm not sure if it's gonna be like an easy, straightforward sort of push all the way to the all-time high. We'll see what happens when we come up to these levels. If we have some sort of a pullback, then that wouldn't surprise me. But as long as we're creating these higher and higher lows, and as long as straight above 77.20, then I'm gonna be bullish and target these highs. Gold, what's going on here? Sorry, this is not gold, it's crude oil. So crude oil, the trend was bearish below this level, but as I've been hinting and saying, I'm looking for this market to bottom out. And the reason for that is because we're approaching these lows, and sorry, this whole cluster of resistance. Now, this is the tricky part. I'm not sure if, is it a resumption of the, is it a resumption of the big picture uptrend that we're dealing with now, and we're going to head to the upside, or is it just going to create like some sort of a lower high here and then target the downside? I'm not sure. I mean, if you ask someone that knows a bit about Elliott waves, he's probably going to say this is A, and then we're going to do B, and then we're probably going to go do C. So again, a little bit like the euro, it's a little bit of a messy chart. But in the short term, for now, the trend, I see it as bullish above 58.16, and I suspect that if we have 50% correction, which takes us down to 59.85, I think traders are going to look to potentially go long again. But I think it makes sense to be more careful in the euro and in crude oil. And Bitcoin, I'm confident in that, and I don't necessarily, again, think we're going to go all the way up to 12,000 in 1 week, 1 day, but I think eventually we're going to reach those levels because it has what we want. It has that consolidation phase, that boring phase, and then now it's starting to pick up. In crude oil, had a lot of action to the upside, a lot of action to the downside, and quite a good amount of action in yesterday. So it could be more action, and it could be action either up or down. Here's gold. Here as well, got stopped out already yesterday morning, or yesterday evening, sorry, 2 days ago, and yesterday we're just neutral. Now the market moved down, moved all the way up, and it looks exactly like the euro to me. It's very close to its all-time high. Took out some of these levels, especially 1,375, and the trend is going to be bullish for probably weeks and months, as traders try to target 1,484. But from a short-term perspective, it's slightly overbought. This is a high, probably needs to pull back a bit and then go up to the upside. Gold, crude oil, euro is one big instrument. Everybody's just selling or buying dollars. So the correlation is high. Need to bear in mind when you trade. Here's the DAX. DAX is moving down lower and lower. Took out that high here today, yesterday already, and that to some extent ended the short-term downtrend because we're creating lower and lower highs, and this could easily move a little bit to the downside, but then maybe up to maybe 12,655. I personally bought the S&P around I bought it actually at 2,600 on the first correction, first decline. Made a few percent on the first bounce, and then when it went back again, I bought again at 2,623, and now it's at 2,700. So some nice returns there. I like the S&P, but here, because it's limited what's going on with the euro, it's more of a struggle, and we need to be clever here how we position ourselves and what we trade. We need to take all this macro flows into account. So bear that in mind. So over the last few days, I said down here we kind of bottom out, and we have bottomed out more or less. I think it goes to the upside, but in no way do I think trading the DAX is gonna be easy. So bear that in mind. Okay. Good morning, Simon. Thanks so much for joining, and everybody else that is here as well. We have a chat box. We don't really use it too much though. It's more to say hello, and I really appreciate that. So good morning to you, Simon, and good morning to everybody else that is watching. So this is 600 seconds of trading. So 600 seconds has passed. So we're gonna wrap things up. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to share and like the video, and don't forget to follow as well. As you probably noticed, we have some small issues with the server today, and we do this via YouTube. So if you follow us on YouTube, even if the server is down, you can still join the morning webinar, which happens Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. London time. Hello, Syrian. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Put a smile on my face. Great, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thanks.